Imagine a species long before humanity that mastered energy, reshaped the planet, and then vanished 56 million years before we arrived. Would there be any sign left that they ever existed? Most people think there would be no way for us to detect their presence. So hypothetically, hundreds of advanced civilizations could have populated Earth before us.
Actually, it's quite easy to find out if an industrial civilization was here before us. Earth's deep geological layers work like a time capsule. Every era leaves a chemical fingerprint embedded in stone. When civilizations like ours extract metals from the ground and distribute them across the planet, they create unnatural concentrations in specific rock layers. After that, these signatures become permanent markers. That's how we know if someone in the distant past harvested metals just like we do now. And here's the key point. There was never anyone as advanced as us on our planet. If there was, we would have detected it by now in geological layers.
But wait, there's more than one anomaly we've detected in the distant past that we can't explain with natural processes. Here's the most famous one. In 1980, a geologist discovered something extraordinary. In Italian rock formations, he found a layer of sediment dating back 65 million years, and it contained iridium levels 30 times higher than normal. Now, it's good to mention that iridium is extremely rare on Earth's surface, but it's abundant in outer space. This single chemical anomaly proved what killed the dinosaurs. Think about it. The asteroid's impact was so massive that it left a permanent signature in Earth's geology that we can still detect today. If a single impact during one day 65 million years ago leaves such clear evidence, imagine what traces an industrial civilization operating for thousands of years would leave behind.
This question sparked the Silurian Hypothesis. It's a scientific framework for detecting ancient technological signatures in Earth's geological record. But here's the thing. Having this framework doesn't mean we've found anything proving advanced ancient technology.
This is where you are wrong. Scientists recently found something, and it changes everything. Ever since life first flourished on our planet, different species lived and died and went extinct thousands of times. We know for a fact that Earth has had 5 major extinction events. The worst one happened 252 million years ago. Scientists call it the Great Dying. The oceans emptied, land animals vanished, most animals went extinct. Based on geology, we know back then carbon dioxide levels spiked exactly like they would from a civilization burning fossil fuels.
Come on, we can easily explain those carbon dioxide spikes with volcanic eruptions, which release carbon dioxide, by the way.
The carbon dioxide spikes I'm talking about had a very different chemical signature. Volcanoes leave one isotope pattern, fossil fuels leave another. The Great Dying shows the fossil fuel pattern. The isotope ratio is specific, but it gets stranger. The extinction that happened 250 million years ago looked selective. It killed certain species while sparing others in the same environment, like something was targeting specific life forms.
Come on. Again, some biological species adapt better than others. The ones that do survive. It's simple evolution. Not to mention, during the exact period you're mentioning, the Siberian traps erupted. It was massive volcanism that lasted millions of years. That, again, proves nothing.
Then let me give you something concrete. In 1972, French scientists were testing uranium ore from Oklo in Gabon. But the uranium they tested turned out wrong. The ratio of uranium-235 to uranium-238 was off by a lot. Let me explain. Natural uranium is 0.72 uranium isotope 235, but the uranium they found was depleted down to 0.60%. That only happens one way. Someone had used this uranium in a nuclear reactor. Except that this uranium was still underground and it was found in an ore deposit 2 billion years old, so it wasn't modern humans that did it.
Everything you're saying is correct. The isotope values are right. And yeah, this can only happen with a controlled nuclear reaction. But that doesn't mean nature isn't capable of producing a natural nuclear reactor. Scientists have proven the Oakville reactor to be a natural formation. As weird as it sounds, nature can also produce atomic fusion.
Natural or not, we can't really say.
We actually know for a fact that the 2 billion year old reactor is natural. And we even know how it formed. Natural reactors form when uranium deposits underground have just the right mix of ingredients, like enough uranium-235 and enough groundwater to act as a natural moderator. It also needs rocks to contain the reaction. About 2 billion years ago, the uranium was more radioactive than it is today. So when water flowed through the ore, it slowed down the neutrons enough to trigger a chain reaction, just like in a modern reactor. The reaction would heat the water until it boiled away, stopping the process. Then it restarted once things cooled and water returned. This natural cycle ran on its own for hundreds of thousands of years.
Even if this 2 billion year old nuclear reactor is natural, it is still proof of something very important. It proves that nuclear reactors leave permanent signatures that we can detect even after billions of years. The signatures we've found match weapon testing facilities. We have also found plutonium isotopes that don't exist in nature, concentrated in layers that correspond with mass extinctions.
This is surely contamination from modern testing, or misidentified natural phenomena.
In rocks dated 50 million years ago, 100 million, there's no way that this is contamination from modern times. Let me tell you about something even more impossible. Deep ocean drilling projects have been pulling up sediment cores from the ocean floor, miles down. That's sediment that's been undisturbed for hundreds of millions of years. In these cores, they're finding microscopic spheres. When analyzed, we found out that they are synthetic polymers, plastics. But they are in layers that formed before even dinosaurs existed.
Those are misidentified minerals, unusual crystal formations.
That's what many scientists thought. But later, we found out that they have carbon-hydrogen chains that nature doesn't make. Complex molecular structures that require industrial chemistry to produce. Someone could have manufactured these. Someone with advanced polymer chemistry hundreds of millions of years ago.
I just checked. Ancient marine layers worldwide contain microtectites and tiny natural glass beads formed when asteroids vaporize and melt crystal rock. They have been cataloged in many ocean drilling cores. They're silicate glass, not plastic. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. Scientists drilled cores from Antarctica's mold rise. What they found is a perfect geological crime scene. It's a sudden 6-degree global temperature increase, and the oceans turned acidic, and a massive carbon isotope drop, exactly like the one we're creating now by burning fossil fuels. That's what they found.
But that was caused by volcanic eruptions or methane release.
Maybe, but look closer. In the same layers, you'll find mercury spikes, anomalies, and black shells full of organic matter and metals. It's a bundle of signals identical to what our own industrial age will leave behind. The event was fast, it was global, and it was temporary, just like an industrial civilization that came and went extinct.
That's still circumstantial.
Then how about this? In East Texas, cores from the Wilcox Formation, the same age as the PETM, show the same fingerprint. High carbon 12, low carbon 13, sudden warmth, and massive soil erosion. In short, a planet behaving as if someone hit the accelerator.
You think the PATM layer is the last footprint of a forgotten civilization?
I'm saying it looks like what our own layer will look like, only 56 million years later. And if geologists 100 million years from now found our layer, they would ask the same question. Was this natural or was this the work of someone intelligent?
Then, where are they? If an advanced civilization existed 56 million years ago, we would find fossils, like skeletons, tools, something at least.
That's what most people think. But fossils don't work the way movies make them seem. They are incredibly rare. They are a geological miracle.
What do you mean? We've got tons of dinosaur bones.
Not really. Dinosaurs ruled Earth for about 180 million years. Trillions of them lived and died. But we've only found a few thousand near-complete fossils. For T-Rex, scientists estimate over 2.5 billion individuals existed, yet fewer than 100 skeletons have ever been found. That's less than 1 in 20 million. This means the entirety of humanity would leave just around 1,000 fossils if we are lucky, because you need super specific conditions for fossils to form. Not to mention, humanity hasn't existed for 100 million years like dinosaurs, we've lived for a few 100,000. Imagine the advanced civilization living 56 million years ago being scarcer. If there was civilization just a few million inhabitants, there would be only 1 or 2 fossils, and we would never find them.
Well, that is true. Fossilization is rare, but even then would still expect something. As I said, artifacts, metals, a city buried under sediment somewhere.
You would think so, but the problem is the Earth doesn't keep anything for that long. The oldest exposed land we have found is the Negev desert in Israel, and it is only about 1.8 million years old. Everything older than that has been recycled by plate tectonics. Mountains rise and crumble. Sea floors become continents. Continents sink into the mantle. If any civilization existed tens of millions of years ago, their cities would have melted back into the planet long ago.
Yeah, even if they had skyscrapers, all we'll find now is lava.
Pretty much. The surface of Earth is like a conveyor belt. It's always moving, always erasing. That's why geologists call it a self-cleaning planet.
Then that's it, case closed. Even if something lived before us, there's nothing left to find.
Not really. It would be arrogant to think we're the first intelligence to appear on this planet. We've existed here for less than 0.00001% of Earth's history. Look at the pattern. The planet goes through cycles: creation, destruction, renewal. Every few 100 million years, a catastrophe resets everything. An impact, a volcanic flood, a sudden warming. Who knows? Life always comes back, smarter, more complex. Who's to say intelligence hasn't risen and fallen more than once? So maybe the question isn't if we are alone. The question is how many times this has already happened. I'm Dan Xuisoko and I thank you for watching Into the Unknown.
If you like this new format, or if you're into ancient mysteries, hit the like and subscribe to bring the channel back to its former glory.
And I hope to see you in the next video.